Let's take a design problem related to MUXs. Here you are asked to design a 4 to 1 MUX using only 2 to 1 MUXs. You cannot use any additional logic. So how do you deal with this problem? Now, if you remember, a 4 to 1 MUX looks something like this. So you have 0, 0, port 0, 1, port 1, 0, and port 1, 1. And you're going to have two select lines or a select line of width 2. And your F. So this one will be I0, I1, I2, and I3. So how do you design the system using 2 to 1 MUXs? Now, one thing that you have to remember is when you have a 4 to 1 MUX, you would need two select lines or a select line of width 2. For an 8 to 1 MUX, you would need three select lines or a select line of width 3. So for a 2 to the power of n to 1 MUX would require n select lines. So for example, a 128 to 1 MUX would require 7 select lines. Okay, so for dealing with these kinds of problems, I'm going to write the truth table first. So the truth table is as follows. I have S1 is the MSB of the select line and S0 is the LSB of the select line. Remember, your select line here is 2 bits. So when select lines are 0, 0, my F is going to be I0 as shown in this figure here. When my select lines are 0 and 1, I'm going to get my output as I1. When my select line is 1, 0, my output is I2. And when my select lines are 1 and 1, I get I3. Okay, so to solve this problem, I'm first going to use a 2 to 1 MUX with my select line as S0. So this is my first 2 to 1 MUX and this is my second 2 to 1 MUX. So it's going to look as follows. MUX 1, MUX 2, and the select for this would be S0 and for this it would be S0. When my select line is 0, I need to pass I0, and when my select line is 1, I need to pass I1. Now let's look at the second MUX. When my select line is 0, I need to pass I2, and when my select line is 1, I'm going to pass I3. Okay, so from this MUX, we are either going to get I0 or I1, and from this MUX, we are going to get I2 or I3. Now this is where I can use my second select line S1. So when S1 is 0, I can choose I0 or I1, and when my select line is 1, I'm going to choose one of these two. And the way I do it is 0, 1, and this one would be select line 1, and this is F. Now let's see what happens here more closely. Assuming that my select lines are S1, S0 is 0, 0, which in that case, my output should be I0. So when S0 is 0, I'm going to get I0 from here. And from this MUX, I'm going to get I2. So this would be I0, I2. Since my select line 1 is also 0, I'm going to pass I0. Let's look at the case where my select lines are 0, 1. When S0 is a 1, I'm going to get I1 from here. And from here, I'm going to get I3. So this one would be I1, this one would be I3. And then S1 is a 0, which in that case, I'm going to get I1 out. So this one matches up with this one. Let's look at 1 0 scenario. When select line 0 is a 0, I'm going to get I0 from here and I2 from here. And so this is I0 and this is I2. And since select line 1 is 1, I'm going to get I2 from here. So that matches up. And finally, both my select lines are 1 and 1. So from this MUX, I'm going to get I1. And from this MUX, I'm going to get I3. So I1 is here. I3 goes all the way here. And since S1 is a 1, I'm going to get I3 out. And that matches up with this. So this is how you can create a 4-to-1 MUX using 2-to-1 MUXs.